Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 career mode for the British Grand Prix in Formula 1. We have been making some very good progress in terms of R&D towards the top few teams, though I'm not sure we have any upgrades coming for this specific weekend, but we've got a few coming in Hungary. So you can see there we're probably roughly equal distance, maybe slightly closer to Renault and McLaren than Red Bull and Ferrari, but yeah, we are making good progress towards those top four teams in the sport at the moment. But we move on to the end of Q1 and you can see we get through down in 11th position, but we advance into the next session nonetheless. Danny Kvyat up in third, so a great lap by him in Q1, so hopefully he can continue that momentum forwards. But yeah, you can see what I mean about the improvements we've made to the car over the season so far, into the second half a few races into the second half of the season now. I'll get there eventually. But anyway, we move on to Q2 rather, and we use two sets of tyres in the first session, so we only have one set left, and you can see I left this run very late. I'm not exactly sure if we'll make it to start the lap. We will, with 1 second on the clock. So that is cutting it as fine as you possibly can, but we did manage to start our lap thankfully, and now we just have to make it count and get a lap together good enough to get us into the top 10. So through the first sector we get through there nice and cleanly, and we move on now to Maggots and Beckett's. This has been the trouble part of the circuit for me all weekend so far, and again we don't quite get it smoothly as I would have liked through there, but still decent. And now we skip to the last couple of corners and taking a fair amount of curve, running a bit wide through this last corner, but across the line. Will we make it into Q3? No, it's P11. That's unfortunate. So it will be P11 for us at the start of this one. We still out-qualify Alex Albon, so yeah, it's not too terrible on that front, but Danny Kvyat manages to get through. Carlos Sainz doing a great job, as well as Daniel Ricciardo up there as well. So anyway, let's get into the race.
Great Britain then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every single year of the Formula 1 World Championship. And the circuit extends that record further for today's Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and Copse flat out. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Let's start with Racing Point. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, and Sainz, Vettel, Kvyat, Stroll, and Lando Norris. The scientist, Albon, Sergio Perez, and Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, and Kimi Raikkonen, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
That is the target. Top 10s are the goal at the moment. I don't think we quite have the overall race pace to challenge the likes of the Red Bulls and Racing Points Mercedes. Well, actually the Racing Points don't seem particularly strong, so we might be able to challenge them. But we'll see how things go once we get underway in this race as we go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the British Grand Prix. A bit of wheel spin for Lance Stroll. We've got a great start there to the left side of Lance Stroll. Danny Kvyat got a bad one there. We're a little bit blocked in behind the Ferrari. We're being hit off the road at the first corner, and thankfully no damage for us. It was a hit in the side pod, but they're going side by side behind. and there was all kinds of chaos. We'll have a look at the replay here to see what happened. We're going 4 wide, but the camera cuts away before we could really see exactly what's happened there, so I have to look at some other onboards in a moment. Here's the onboard with Lance Stroll. You can see he's got an AlphaTauri on each side. He just gets his ears boxed in, and there was nothing he could have done about that, unfortunately for Stroll, and now he's lost both the end plates off his front wing. He's going to need to make a stop. That's his race pretty much ruined. Here's the onboard with Fiat, and he gets a huge hit from on the inside there, sends him into the path of Lance Stroll, and yeah, again, not a lot Fiat could have done there, so it's looking a little bit like a racing incident. Here's the onboard with Lando Norris. He's got a good run up the inside, and yeah, just tries to make the move on Fiat. But at that point, he wouldn't have known that there were 3 cars on the outside, the same way I didn't know there were 3 cars on the inside. So, bit of a racing incident, I think, there. But we move on, and we now have a good run on a Ferrari and a McLaren down the inside, and we make the moves on Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz, and we move ourselves up and into 6th position in this race. So it's been a decent start for us, gaining 5 positions from where we qualified, so it's a good start for us. We just need to continue to push on in this race and see if we can make anything of it. If we might be able to grab top 5 if we're lucky, but Sainz down the inside makes the move there, and he puts that dream slightly further away. But Lando Norris retires from the race with a mechanical failure, unfortunately, and he will not finish his home race in 2020. So yeah, not a great day for Lando Norris, crashing at the first corner and then the engine not surviving the duration of the Grand Prix. But back in our land, we've got a great run down the inside of Charles Leclerc into Stowe. We've gone a little bit too deep into the corner as Leclerc gets the switchback and will hold on to the position. But we've got the pace to take to the Ferraris, go up the inside again into Vale and Club. And now Leclerc around the outside, and we are still battling away side by side. It's Lirim Zandelli and Ben Viscal over again, but this time the car on the inside, that is us, comes out on top. Leclerc, though, not giving up. We have to leave a bit of space on the inside there. Leclerc gets back through. Vettel getting involved now as well down the inside into Village, but we'll have the inside line for the loop, and we'll be trying to utilize that. And we do squish him out very wide there, and Vettel probably not too happy with that driving, as we were a little bit aggressive there, but nonetheless we hold on to the position, and after all that squabbling, we've maintained the positions we were already in before, so all that was a little bit for nothing. But nonetheless, we'll try and chase after Charles Leclerc once again. We're already starting to close up to him, so yeah, we've got the pace over the 2 Ferraris, or at least over Leclerc. Vettel is actually starting to come back at us, but down the inside of Leclerc once again, and this time we stay nice and tight on the inside line, and we're able to make the move on Charles Leclerc, cover off the inside line here to make sure there's no re-overtaking shenanigans, and we've got that covered. But here's the replay, and yeah, Leclerc tried to fight back. We covered off the inside. He had a look on the outside, but yeah, we were able to maintain that position, and now we can look forwards once again to the McLaren of Carlos Sainz, who actually makes an early pit stop. So maybe Carlos Sainz is on a 2-stop in this race. It's not impossible, or maybe he's just gone to the hards, but either way, he is definitely making an early stop in this race compared to what I'm doing. But we continue on, and we are going to come in on this very lap as we round the Stowe corner, and Hamilton's there. We've made contact on the way into pit lane. Hamilton was on the right hand side as we're trying to pull off right into the pit lane, and we've made quite significant contact there, and that has had a detrimental effect on Hamilton's race as he's spun. He's got front wing damage, grazed the wall there. Albon somehow manages to skim through there, and I don't think Albon got any damage. I think he was able to.
You'll be racing on the exit. Go, go, go.
Actually, no, I think he did get some front wing damage.
Let's get some heat into those tires.
Running into the back of us. But yeah, it's a adventurous pit entry and an adventurous pit exit for us. And we are very lucky not to drill the racing point as we re-enter the circuit there. So yeah, it's Not exactly sure how to call that one. We were just trying to get into pit lane. Hamilton switched to the right hand side, and that was that. But anyway, we will just push on in this race and see what we can make of it. And yeah, we'll just get on with the job at hand. Up the inside, and we make the move on Sergio Perez. Maybe did I refer to him as Lance Stroll before?
Nice overtake.
I have no idea. But anyway, we made the move on Sergio Perez. Very aggressive, very late on the brakes. Perez did not see us coming. And then on the exit, whack, runs straight into our right rear tyre.
Fuel is a target -3. We need to save urgently. Mix 1, please.
Oh dear. I accidentally left the car enriched for a while there. For a lot of laps. So anyway, we won't worry about that for now, because the Ferraris are battling away up ahead, and Charles Leclerc has overtaken Sebastian Vettel. I'm not sure exactly how they got the other way around, but yeah, Leclerc overtaking Sebastian Vettel there, and now we got a good run on Sebastian Vettel. If we can get a nice flowing run through Abbey and Farm, we'll get a nice run to the outside, down the inside of Village, and we'll make that move quite easily there on Sebastian Vettel. Clean pass, and now we'll try and chase down the other Ferrari of Charles Leclerc in the next couple of laps. We get the DRS as well, so we can also be using some DRS to save fuel. We don't quite get close enough as we head into the next complex of corners, but we'll get there very, very soon.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
So yeah, as we continue on, we're going to go up the inside of Brooklands, and we'll just about get that move done. Leclerc, I think, turned in on us there, and again, the car on the outside, not really realizing that we were making the move. We were wide of the traditional line, but you still have to leave the space. Look how hard he turned into that corner. It's as if he certainly was not expecting us to be there, but yeah, he soon found out that there was a car down the inside. Here's the onboard from Leclerc, just turns in, and all of a sudden discovers that he is about to be overtaken. And yeah, we're able to make that move, and Leclerc has given himself some front wing damage there, so unfortunate for Charles Leclerc, but that was his own mistake. But we continue on further through this race, and we now have Lewis Hamilton catching up to us. He had to make an additional stop to change the front wing, and now he is catching up once again. So we'll see if we can defend from him and hold on to this position we found ourselves in, because we are into the top 5 in this race. So we are in a really, really great position for not only the drivers but also the team's championship.
2 seconds.
And yeah, if we can hold on to the top 5, that would be amazing. But right now, Lewis Hamilton is looking very, very pacey. But we're going to try and hold him off and just do the best job that we can at the moment. And he's given us a hit there through the loop, and we'll hold on to the position. But Hamilton getting desperate. He hasn't even been stuck behind us. He just thought he'd send it up the inside here. That was never going to be an overtake at that point in the circuit. And yeah, he's very lucky to get away with that one. Now he is catching up to us along the straight, but we're going to cover that one off and hold off the Mercedes driver for the time being, and we'll continue to maintain this position for as long as we can in the rest of this race. There's no way we can catch the cars in front, they're too fast, so we've got nothing to lose by fighting with Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, we're just going to keep this up for as long as we can, really, and just push on further and further into this race. Hamilton round the outside into the village section, but again, we're going to hold on to that position with some move around the outside there. Hamilton is pinched on the apex of the village section, the loop section. Anyway, Hamilton would bump again into the back of us there on the exit of Stowe, so he is getting very, very punchy, and again here down the inside of Stowe, but this time he is fully alongside as we head towards the last couple of corners. He switches back as we go deep, and he runs into us again. So Hamilton is really, really risking his front wing. We run side by side into the first corner this time.
He might Don't make a mistake.
And again, we hold on. So Hamilton must be getting hugely frustrated at the moment. We're going to take a nice wide line here to get a punchy exit onto the straight, because that's where we are the weakest. But Hamilton, where's he gone? He's dropped out of the list in the top left corner. And here we go on board with Hamilton. He's tried to make the move on the outside. There's no space there, and he gets sent off the circuit. And the day just goes from bad to worse for Lewis Hamilton. He must be so frustrated at the moment, but he just hasn't been able to make the move. Sergio Perez actually catches us napping a bit there as we went deep into Stowe. We managed to get the position back heading into the club section,
4 laps of fuel remaining.
and managed to stay ahead of Sergio Perez, but he is getting very, very punchy as well in the later stages, but we're just about holding on to these positions from this
Okay, the car behind is catching you by 5/10 a lap. 5/10.
but yeah, from this last couple of laps, it's getting very, very intense. It's all defense for us, and again, we are able to hold off Sergio Perez through the first couple of corners, but he is so fast, and eventually we do make a mistake and run wide on the exit of Luffield there, or Brooklands. I've literally forgotten which one's which. Anyway, we ran wide on the exit. Sergio Perez got past us.
This is your final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 26.4 seconds.
And yeah, now on the final lap, we need to chase down Sergio Perez. Once again, we're catching up and down the inside. No, not going to make the move into this section.
Drop down to mix too soon.
This one's Luffield, isn't it? The first one's Brooklyn. The left hand is Brooklands, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, we need to get a good run through Copse and through Maggots and Beckett's if we want to try and make a move into Stowe. That is our only chance to overtake Sergio Perez in this race. Otherwise, we have lost our top 5 finish. So really attacking the curbs through Maggots and Beckett's, trying to get the best run we possibly can. I think that's about as smoothly as we've gone through that section all weekend. We get the DRS along the straight, and we're going to make the move to the inside of Sergio Perez into Stowe corner, and we will get ahead of the Mexican in the racing point. And now we just have a couple more corners left to navigate in this race, and we will have claimed a top 5 finish at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Round the final corner, and we're going to do a P5 at Silverstone.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
What a weird race. Hamilton will be absolutely fuming after that one. He will not be happy with me after all that defense. But what are you going to do?
Plenty of action here at Silverstone. It was a memorable race, and what an impressive victory. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So it's Valtteri Bottas that takes the win here at Silverstone from Max Verstappen in 3rd, and Carlos Sainz manages to snag a podium for McLaren. A great job by him.
Here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I have to give it to the scientist. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Whew, what a messy race that was. I do feel a bit bad for Hamilton for this one. Yeah. Mostly for the one on pit entry. We needed to stop on that lap. We were getting called in, and the other cars were already getting an undercut. So yeah, we needed to box. But yeah, we just ran just slightly wide through Stowe. Hamilton got the nose on the inside, and at that point, there was no getting out of it for him. But at the same time, I was heading into pit lane, and yeah, I probably could have, pulled out of it, but oh well, it's done now. We got away with it somehow, and yeah, we've had a few comings together with Hamilton recently. It's become a little bit strange, but yeah, there was the one on the start line in France, though. That time he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I guess you could argue the same thing here. But yeah, I'm not sure why he was trying to be so punchy in this race. He just kept running into the back of us on the corner exits at Stowe, but in particular, he'd get a good exit and then he'd just bump into us. There's the pit entry. Albon, very lucky to not end up in a bit of a pickle there. But yeah, very messy race, but nonetheless a very crazy one. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to commentate over, even if it was maybe not my cleanest race. But here's the move on Leclerc, and again, Leclerc just turned in so hard into that corner, just had no idea we were there. I can only assume that because we were again going a bit wide of the normal racing line, he wasn't really expecting us to go that deep into the corner. But I mean, Silverstone is so wide, there's so much space there that he could have used. But anyway, it's happened and it's done now, as we will now move on to the interviews.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
No, it wasn't actually too difficult. We were very quick in a straight line today, so that really helped us.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
There's no secret really. We're just, we're continuing to push with the development of the car.
You had a few bumps and scrapes today. Who would you say is at fault?
Well, these things happen from time to time. I'm not going to point fingers at anyone at this point, but yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, and yeah, we may have to go apologise to Lewis after this. But yeah, these things happen after after racing for a while. It's bound to happen at some point.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire. Alright, so that brings the Grand Prix weekend to a close. We beat Sebastian in the rivalry, close up to him overall there. So yeah, that is just about it for this one. I think we'll purchase another chassis upgrade, and other than that there is not too much else left to cover. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thank you, and goodbye.